Welcome to the AllPittPod, where we cover all things Pittsburgh professional sports. Now, if you've watched previous episodes, you'll probably tell that there's a little something different, and that is the camera. You can see me, you can see everything behind me, right? So, just before I clicked record, my dog was walking back there, so that'll probably be the highlight of the show for everyone else. But yeah, here we are, got a camera. You actually have something to watch instead of just listening to and looking at a picture. So yeah, but we got a lot of Steelers football to talk about, like usual. Nothing NHL wise, no Penguins news, quite literally nothing. But we'll do what we normally do, and we will go ahead and start with the MLB and the Pirates. Now, if you see me looking to the left, well, your right, my left, I believe. If it's flipped, whatever. I have a second monitor over here, so this is where I keep all of like the information and everything. So yeah, just an FYI. If I'm looking over here, it's because I'm looking at information, and if I look down, it's because I got my notes down. Okay. So you guys have probably heard that the former Pirates owner G. Ogden Nutting passed away a couple of days ago. So I just wanted to bring that up first before we talked anything really about the sports and everything. Deepest condolences to the family as well. That is really unfortunate, and I hope everything goes well and thoughts are with them. But yeah, moving on, we have the Pirates. They played the Cubs, and we got killed by the Cubs every time. Like the last game we played against the Cubs, it was 10-1. Like, come on, Pirates, what are we doing, dude? It's getting upsetting. I will say though. So, the last 3 games though, we won, right? And we played the Royals, which are the worst team in the MLB. So I'm not surprised. I mean, we're pretty low down there, but we are not that bad. Good Lord. But that is a huge win for me because no one knows this, but I actually grew up in the KC area, being a Pittsburgh fan, right? So I hate everything Kansas City, which is really unfortunate because if we're looking on the football side of things, it's not, that sucks because the Chiefs are the best team in the NFL. They're on a dynasty run right now, and it's ridiculous. The reason I hate them is not because, they did anything to me. They didn't do anything to the Steelers or anything, right? But growing up in an area where you're not a fan of that team, and that team is really good, and you have to hear about it 24/7, gets a little annoying, okay? So, being in Kansas City and listening to all of the Chiefs fans and the Royals fans, whenever the Royals were really good here, a few years ago, like 2016, 2017, whenever they won the series or whatever, it gets annoying. It gets under your freaking skin. Now, I will say, though, obviously, the Steelers have been good for a very long time. They're going to be good this year. It's okay, but while the Steelers suck and the Chiefs are winning and the Royals were winning before they just randomly dumped off of the side, edge of the earth again, whatever, that sucked too, being a Pirates fan. And the Pirates still sucked around that time as well. They just, not very good. But I mean, they're literally going off of almost exactly what I was saying. Is it's like we win 2, lose 3, win 1, lose 2, win 2, like, come on, dude. It's like a perfect pattern. And I know baseball is like, whenever it comes to the games and everything and like winning and losing, it's a little more what's the word, like fluctuation, right? With football, it's like we only have 17 weeks in a season, so it's like every game kind of does count. In the MLB, not all games really count, and they're definitely not created equally, right, in these games. But it's like if you look at these other teams, like we'll go up to the top of just our section, the Milwaukee. They're 74-59. So, and their percentage is .556. We are 45.45 below 500. So it's, yeah, we're on a streak though. Win streak of 3. St. Louis is on a win streak of 2, who is directly below us by 3 games now since we swept the Royals. Thank God. Good Lord. I was so nervous. I actually planned to go to that game, but the issue was that I kind of forgot about it. I'm going to keep it real. I obviously have things outside of this, so like work and everything. And I'm kind of glad I didn't go, because if you watched the game or paid attention to the game or anything like that, the game on Tuesday, I believe, It was 0-1 until like the 8th inning. 0-1, and we were losing too. That's the thing. It's not even like we were winning. We were losing. We were down one to the freaking Royals, right? And then I checked the score, top of the ninth or whatever, and then it was like what 6-1, 6-3 is what the final score was. So whenever I checked, it probably was like 6-1. So I mean, thank God we pulled that out, right? But sitting through 8 innings of baseball and there only being one score, that is ridiculous. Like, come on. Well, like I'm just glad I didn't waste the $13 it would have been to get into that stadium for that game. I'm gonna keep it real. That is ridiculous. But let's move on to some Steelers football. Got a couple of trades that we'll go ahead and cover first. So we had a trade with the Texans, which this is a little unfortunate because I don't know, obviously no one's probably seen it. The first or second episode I talked about Kevin Green. He was the one that was getting snaps at like fullback in training camp and stuff like that. He was traded to the Texans, and in return we got a 2025 6th round pick. Now that is like, I mean, a 6th round pick really isn't a whole lot, but for who he was, it's kind of like a lot of people, including myself, are surprised that we even got anything for him instead of just cutting him or releasing him or whatever. We still got a draft pick out of that, and I mean, with Omar Khan, the Khan artist, and Mike Tomlin and everything, I mean, they've been making our later round picks really good. Like, I mean, to be honest, our later round picks have been better than our later picks, right? I mean, specifically with this year, I feel like, right? So we got something out of it, and that's all I could ever ask for him. I mean, obviously, I wanted to see what he could do with the Steelers, because he was, I liked him. He was a good player, but I hope, he has the best of luck out there in at Houston with the Texans. And then the second trade, this one's a little more convoluted. So we sent over guard Kevin Dotson, and a 2024 5th round pick and a 2025 6th round pick, which is probably the 6th round pick that we got from the Texans, I would assume. And we received a 2024 4th round pick and a 2025 5th round pick. So, oh, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. The Rams got our 2024 5th round pick. We got their 2025 5th round pick. And then, yeah. So they received a player, we received a 4th and a 5th, and then they received a 5th and a 6th from us. So I mean, how? Like, I've been looking online from other Steelers fans and everything, like reacting to these trades and everything, and everyone is just like, we are so surprised that we are even getting what we are getting for these people. Like, it's pretty ridiculous. A lot of people did not like see them, getting anything from them. I mean, especially this. I mean, we just got two decent round draft picks from this. You know what I mean? Like, so it's good. I'm glad to see it. So I want to go ahead and talk about releases. Obviously, with what was it, Tuesday? I think was the deadline, the release deadline for the 53-man roster, and unfortunate news for me because I really like this player. We released tight end Zach Gentry, I think is how you say it, his last name. I really like him. I like what he's done with the facility, not with the facility, just with the program and everything. And he seemed to be a really good team player. And he definitely did not just play for himself. He played for the team, and he wanted to improve for the team. And we released him. And as far as I know, which I could double check real quick, he's still a free agent, but he'll get picked up. Yeah, he's still a free agent. He'll get picked up probably. I wouldn't be surprised if we did bring him back for practice squad, but I mean, I feel like it's been a few days already, and I'm kind of worried that we might not, because I feel like that would have been like a pretty quick, return with Zach Gentry, but we'll see. If he doesn't get picked up by another team, I'm hoping that he comes back and is at least practice squad for the Steelers or whatever. But I mean, we should have kind of seen it coming. I was just hoping he would beat out, whoever, because our final, we had so much depth at tight end. I mean, we have our guy Pat Fryermuth, and then we just drafted what's his name, Darnell Washington, and everything. So it's it's unfortunate. And then we obviously have Connor Hayward as well, who can kind of bounce between fullback, tight end type of thing. So yeah, let's go over here. I'm gonna look at our depth chart real quick. Okay, whatever. It's fine. We have the people that we know are going to be there. So our draft pick at tight end and Pat Fryermuth, who is our all pro tight end, top 10 tight end. Okay, okay, buddy. So yeah, that was unfortunate news. I did not like hearing that. I like I said, I'm a big fan of Zach Gentry and what he's done. He's hilarious. He does, he seems like he plays for himself. Um, we'll go ahead and move on. This will be pretty quick, but I just want to talk about Joey Porter Jr. during the preseason. All of his stats are right here in my hand. They're pretty good, bud. They're pretty good. He had 40 snaps, only 2 catches allowed out of those 40 snaps, 1 interception, and 1 forced incompletion, a 58.3 passer rating allowed. Pretty good, right? He's another one of those rookies, man, that is just I think is gonna really take off. I don't know. We could be wrong, but there's a lot of hype around him, obviously. Whenever he got that interception, giving the ball off to his dad, Porter Sr. It's so cool to see. And the Steelers are just so family oriented. Like, I've been saying this forever, even before the Joey Porter thing, but like around the TJ Watt era, whenever he first started coming in, and then we got Derek Watt, and then like you really start looking into like who all has played there and the family connections, because now we also have Connor and Cameron Hayward as well, and then we have Joey Porter, who's the son of senior. It's just the Steelers, man. Like it's pretty crazy, and I love seeing it. I'm glad that our organization is an organization that runs like that, and they're good with that. Moving on, though, we have Nick Herbig. He was the highest graded non-first round pick by the PFF. So that's fantastic. Because, again, he was like, what, a 5th round pick? Nick Herbig is scary. Can we all just get that out of the way? Nick Herbig is great. I'm excited for Nick Herbig. Like, our defense is low-key stacked. Can we just all agree on that? Our defense is ridiculous, and it's amazing to see it. And I'm so excited for our defense, man. The steel curtain is going to be sick. On top of also our O-line, hopefully being the picket fence. I mean, whatever. But speaking of the O-line, though, we need to talk about this some more, I feel like, is our first-round pick out of Georgia, our left tackle, Broderick Jones. As of right now, I haven't seen any clarification or anything specific on this or whatever, but I don't think he is even starting yet. I mean, and that's okay. It's okay. I just think a lot of people were hoping that our first round pick, on O-line was going to be starting because we need it. We need a good player. But I mean, we've built up our O-line. We got that guard from the Eagles, which I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name. I apologize. So, like, we're building up the picket fence a little bit, but I was super excited about Broderick Jones, and I don't know if it's just the pace of the game or what, but whenever I saw him playing in the preseason, he seems softer than what he was playing in college. I don't know if it's just, that switch from the college, like the collegiate level to the NFL, whatever it may be, but I'm just worried that he's not going to work out like we expected him to. What the hell? Okay. That was odd. Sorry, my computer just did some weird shit. Whatever. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. I'm just worried that he's not going to work out. Obviously, all hopes are up there, and hoping that he will be the next awesome left tackle, right? Be an all-pro tackle, whatever it may be, O-lineman. But I don't know. I just feel like I need to see more from Broderick Jones, and I was fully expecting him to come in and just do exactly what he did in college. And watching him play, it's not like he played bad at all. It's just whenever you watch his college highlights, dude is intense. Like, he is playing with a passion, He is playing with some oomph, and that's just I didn't see that. I just saw him playing kind of safely, right? And again, this is not trashing him. I mean, maybe I'm missing it, but it's just whenever, like I said, if you want to go compare his preseason highlights in the NFL to his college highlights, they are not the same, and it's unfortunate. And I was really hoping that they would be the same. I mean, everyone was, right? That's a Steelers fan. I mean, whatever, but that's just not how it was. But best of luck to Broderick Jones. I mean, obviously, this is criticism on top of it, but also it's just I want him to be great. I want him to work out, and it was just kind of surprising for me. And I hope that obviously everything goes well with him, and that he kicks ass. That's just what it is in the end, right? It's just go out there, play your heart out, kick some ass. You're playing in the trenches, man. That is not the easiest position, at left tackle. I mean, it's one of the hardest positions, You got to protect the hardest position to play behind you, especially if they're, a $200 million quarterback, hopefully, and Kenny Pickett, right? I mean, whatever. Like, we're hoping that he could protect him. But if that changes or whatever, for sure, hopefully, if he becomes a starter, I mean, big props, you beat out the other left tackle. But as of right now, I have not seen any confirmation that he is starting. But I mean, if we want to tie it into what I said, I think that was last week about Joey Porter. I mean, it's okay if he has to sit out or is second or whatever in line. It's just the only problem is it's not like he's sitting behind a great left tackle like Joey Porter is with Patrick Peterson and some other defensive backs, right? It's not like, I mean, like, obviously these people are great enough to be in the league and to be playing and everything, right? But it's not this. It's a similar situation, but not the same situation with Joey Porter. With him, if he were to be sitting out or just being, second squad, whatever it may be, because it's just he's not behind someone, a super talented veteran or whatever. I mean, so I don't know. We'll see about Broderick Jones. I really wanted to see more. That's all it was. But yeah, moving on to more trades. We didn't trade for him. They must have released him or whatever. We just picked them up. Speaking of defensive backs with Joey Porter Jr., we signed former Texans defensive back Desmond King. Desmond King, I went and watched some highlights on him or whatever. I believe he was actually a late pick as well whenever he was drafted. He's a little bit older of a guy now. I think he's, kind of turning into a veteran or whatever. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know everything about Desmond King from the freaking Texans, right? But I mean, it's just adding depth to that defensive back and adding to the roster of people that are there to probably build up Joey Porter. That's really what it is. I mean, don't get me wrong. We have a couple other great defensive backs, right? That are playing well and they're younger guys, and they're probably also going to be learning stuff from, Patrick Peterson and stuff like that. But it's just, I feel like it's pretty obvious that our main focus whenever it comes to who we're building and what we're building, it's Joey Porter Jr. And that's okay. I mean, whatever. Like, he's the rookie. The other guys have been in the league for a little bit. Like, he's the rookie. He needs to be focused on. That's okay. But yeah, we've talked a lot of defense. And that's because our defense is pretty stacked. And that's super exciting. Defensive being stacked, I'm not complaining. Defense wins games. But let's move on to the offense. The offense looked really good during the preseason, as everyone knows. And I think that we are very, what's the word? Not we, but like the coaches and the ownership and everything, they feel good about the offense because we made like no offensive changes other than the two trades with the Rams and the Texans with our offensive line, the two guards or whatever. But one of the guards, I don't even think dressed at all last year. So, I mean, he was just kind of chilling there. But like, it's not like we went out and got any receivers or anything. We didn't go out and do literally anything. So I feel like they feel pretty solid about what they have in the offense. I would just like to reiterate, that is not me saying that I think that they didn't feel good about their defense or whatever. It's just, I mean, that's just how it goes. And we picked up a decent bit on defense as well that are surprising everyone, like Nick Herbig, right? So it's like he's big talks. Joey Porter Jr. being a junior from someone that literally played on the Steelers, right? So it's just our defense is getting a lot of the attention. And again, like I said earlier, I'm not upset with that. Defense wins games, in my opinion, right? But our offense has kind of been put in the back because of how well and how focused on the defense everything is. But like I said, with the trade deadline, and the 53-man roster deadline on Tuesday, and we just didn't really do a whole lot with our offense, makes me more confident in the offense than what we already are. The offense, like I said, and like everyone saw, kicked butt in the preseason. Like we basically went perfect. I mean, Kenny Pickett missed only like 2 completions. He only missed 2 throws, and then our running backs looked great. I mean, they both got a couple touchdowns, I believe. And our wide receivers, I'm super excited for. Like, I have not been this excited for a group of wide receivers in a very long time. I mean, like back whenever we had Antonio Brown, Marcus Wheaton, Martavis Bryant, like that wide receiver core was something else until they all 3 kind of ruined their lives. But that's besides the point. Our guys that we have now, they're solid dudes. I feel like. I mean, they're just dogs. They're dudes, and I'm excited for them because it also kind of seems like they have their heads on straight as well. And I think they just want to go out there and win. And we talked about it last week, but Calvin Austin III, I'm probably the most excited about. I mean, obviously George Pickens we're excited about. Deontay Johnson's been playing for a while, so I mean, I feel like this might be Deontay Johnson's prove it year because he hasn't been, like he's been good, right? But it's just I don't know. Deontay Johnson, I think, has a chip on his shoulder this year, and that's great. But also, there's going to be a lot of different. We have a bunch of different targets now that we're going to have to, here, and I hope that all the receivers and the tight ends and everything can keep their heads on straight if they're not getting the ball because Calvin Austin's good or George Pickens is good, Deontay Johnson, whoever it may be, Freiermuth's getting all the catches, right? Because everyone knows that whenever a wide receiver feels like they're not getting attention, they start to throw a little hissy fit. I mean, George Pickens did it last year as well. He got his head back on straight. It's all good. No, negative towards George Pickens. It's just, it happens. A lot of wide receivers feel that way. They think that they're open and the quarterback is not doing something with them or for them for some reason. But we have so many targets that Kenny Pickett can choose from. I mean, we literally saw that, in the preseason. Like, everyone touched the ball. Every single wide receiver / tight end, whatever it may be, got at least 1 completion all of the preseason, two completions, whatever it may be. So it's like they just need to keep their heads on straight, and I think we can win a lot of games with our wide receiver core, and I'm super excited about our wide receiver core. Tying it all back to the beginning of this little wide receiver rant, Calvin Austin III, super excited for it. He is so fast. The only reason we didn't use him last year is I believe he was on injured all season. I can't remember with what, but dude is fast, and he looked really good in the preseason, and it's super duper exciting. And then obviously we got George Pickens. I want Deontay Johnson to be well, but I think with Calvin Austin's speed and George Pickens' just freakish athletic ability, I mean, it's gonna be cool. We have a solid number of people that can catch footballs, good balls, and that's super exciting. And then moving on from wide receivers, we'll go ahead and talk about the running back situation again. Jaylen frickin' Warren, you guys know how big of a Warren fan I am. If he plays like he played last year or how he played through the preseason, I'm going to get a frickin' Warren jersey, dude. Like, Jaylen Warren is that guy. It's just plain and simple. I'm super excited. We have Najee Harris, who is also that guy. He's a dog. It's how it goes. And it just, I don't know, dude. I think we talked about it a little bit last week. I was looking at our schedule, and it's obviously we're not going to win all 17 games. I mean, if we win all 17 games, good Lord, we are so much better than what we thought we were, right? But you look at our schedule, and we don't have the hardest schedule, obviously. But I mean, I think we're like middle of the road whenever it comes to difficulty and schedule. And I look at a lot of these teams, and like a lot of these teams I do not see beating us as of right now. I mean, the only downside to our team is we can't stay healthy sometimes. I mean, like, TJ Watt has got to stay healthy. If TJ Watt goes out, dude, I mean, like, it's just how it is. We're gonna lose, right? I mean, it has nothing to do with our other players. It's just T.J. Watt has a presence because he's literally the best dude on defense in the whole freaking world. I mean, like, come on, he's at least top three. And so whenever you lose the best dude who just creates a presence, I mean, it literally happened to us, last year, 2 years ago, whenever he gets injured. He has got to stay healthy. If TJ Watt is not healthy, the team is not healthy. And then obviously we need to see a full week 1 to week 17 season with Kenny Pickett. For the love of God, please do not get hurt. Kenny Pickett, do not get concussed. Put some extra toilet paper up in that helmet or something. I don't know, dude. Come on. You have got to stay healthy. And obviously, injuries are it's not like they planned to get hurt. Okay, I get that. I understand that. But I think I see us going into the playoffs if we stay healthy, deep into the playoffs even. I don't think we're Super Bowl caliber team, and even if we are, there's other teams that are still probably going to beat us out, like the Chiefs or whatever it may be. I would say the Bills, but we crapped on them, dude. Come on now, Bills ain't nothing. But we also have to think that the AFC North is one of, if not the most competitive thing, but you know what I'm trying to say. I'm losing the word, whatever. The AFC North is just tough. I mean, we have the Ravens, we have the Bengals, and we have the Browns. I mean, we'll ignore the Browns, whatever. We can't ignore the Browns. The problem is Deshaun Watson. If he comes back and he plays like Houston Deshaun Watson, who basically carried one of the worst teams to a playoff and whatever in a very long time, I mean, it's dangerous, right? I mean, I personally don't think that they are going to. I think that we're still going to whoop up on the Browns. But either way, moving on to Cincinnati, right, in the AFC North. For some reason, they think that not telling us if Burrow, good Lord, is going to start week 1 is like some weird competitive advantage or whatever. Everyone knows he's going to be out there week 1. I mean, come on, dude. He's fine. He's out there walking around, hanging out, practicing, whatever it may be. He's going to play week 1. And then the Ravens are dangerous. They have Lamar Jackson, who is obviously very difficult to freaking, do anything with. He's just such a good athletic freak. And they also have a really good wideout room. I mean, they have OBJ, they have Zay Flowers, who's a rookie, but apparently he is just kicking butt out there for the Ravens. But yeah, the AFC North is just really tough. I mean, obviously the Cincinnati Bengals, they've been to the Super Bowl recently. They have been to the AFC Championship. Like, they're up there, man. I mean, that's just how it goes. So yeah, if I have to go with the people that I'm afraid of the most, though, man, it's difficult. It's definitely between Cincinnati and the Ravens, obviously. But I think I'm more afraid of the Bengals, to be honest with you, just because Burrow is a freak at quarterback and they have some really good wide receivers, and our defensive backs hopefully can cover them. But I mean, we know our DBs have been kind of rough or whatever. But we'll go ahead and move on to week 1, though. Ignoring the AFC North, we don't want to see him. Get that out of here. San Francisco 49ers. This is going to be an interesting game. Oh, we got something from ESPN. Is that Pittsburgh related? Kind of. It's a story about Antonio Brown, but I don't want to talk about that at all. We got San Francisco 49ers week 1, and that's exciting for us because the 49ers obviously went pretty deep into the playoffs last year, so they're obviously a good team. And I don't want an easy win for our first week. The reason I say that is because I think our team is great. And if we can go out there and prove that week 1, and if we really kick in the teeth of the 49ers, that's what I'm talking about. The 49ers are good, though. They got good quarterback. They got Christian McCaffrey, obviously. Their O-line's pretty good. Defense is one of the top ranked, I'm pretty sure. So I'm kind of glad that we're starting off with the 49ers because I want us to get tested. I don't want to go out there and play like... who's a crappy team? I don't know. Freaking I don't know, one of the crappy teams out there. I'm glad we're not going out there and playing them. I'm glad we're playing someone who's genuinely a contender. That way we can genuinely see what the Steelers are about, week one. And if we go out there and we roll like we rolled against the Bills, or we blow them out like we blowed out Atlanta, like that's a solid look for the season. Super excited. I believe we are 8 days away from football. NFL kickoff. Kickoff is Chiefs and Detroit. Kind of lame. That's all right. It's going to be a good game. I hope the Detroit Lions win because you guys know how much I don't like the Chiefs now. It's really cool to see. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like that they're doing stuff for my area, but I like the Steelers and the Pirates and the Penguins. But guess what? You guys don't have a hockey team, so I mean, whatever. It's fine. But yeah, so this will probably start to conclude the end of the podcast while we try and go ahead and get it to end. I did this at the end of last episode, so I'm going to go ahead and do it at the end of this one as well. If you watched all the way to the end, that probably means that you are a fan of the podcast and that you are a fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Pittsburgh Pirates, or the Pittsburgh Penguins, hopefully all three. I have figured out that I would like to have 2 other people join the show. And if you are interested, you can go ahead, follow me on Instagram, and send me a DM on Instagram, or go ahead and drop a comment on YouTube that you're interested, and we can try and communicate. What I'm really looking for is someone who is a baseball specific and a hockey specific person they're all in on baseball and or hockey. Hopefully, obviously, they need to be Pirates and Penguins fans specifically, but they need to be involved in the NHL and the MLB. That way they can cover those specific sports a lot better than I can. So I've been trying. I really wanted to do this by myself. Not necessarily I wanted to do it by myself. It was just I was going to try and I was going to challenge myself to do it by myself. But it's just, I think it would be a lot easier, and I think we could grow something a lot better if we had 2 other people that were specific in those sports, on top of also being able to talk with me about football, and we all bounce off of each other. Hopefully we're all Pittsburgh fans of all professional sports, but I need people that are more centric and specific into those 2 other sports. So if you are interested, DM the AllPittPod on Instagram or drop a comment on YouTube. With that, though, I think this is going to go ahead and end the AllPittPod episode 4, I believe. I will see you next Friday, and it's almost football time. Get excited.